welcome to etbfsi.com. My name is Amol Dete, and in the special series FinTech Diary, I have with me Mukesh Anchuri, the co-founder of Paymatrix. Mukesh, welcome on the show.
Thank you, Amol. Wonderful. I feel wonderful to be a part of this show.
Great. Thank you so much for joining, Mukesh. And we have this special series called FinTech Diary, and we're trying to do and connect with the fintechs who are trying to do something special, something innovative in the period of lockdown. So again, welcome on the show. Since you operate from Hyderabad, Mukesh, I have very basic and a specific question related to your city. I know there are a lot of fintechs operating from Hyderabad as well, and we all are under lockdown. So how do you see the entire fintech environment right now? What are the fintechs from Hyderabad doing? Are they just relaxing or just using lockdown, to innovate more, disrupt more? What is the sense that you're getting?
Yeah, I would cite the current crisis to be both an opportunity and a challenge for fintech,
Right.
and of course, it's same applicable for the fintechs in Hyderabad too. Most of the fintechs are currently using the opportunity to either ramp up their product development capabilities because I would say fintech, of course, is either linked to a credit opportunity or an insurance opportunity, or say, for example, you have some fintech operating in cheat space. So, couple of these domains are affected by the existing cash crunches in the market. So, for instance, cheats. People are opting to get a moratorium to even pay their monthly checks. So you don't see much activity for the startup when you don't have anything going on. So I see much of my peer startups in fintech space in Hyderabad using this opportunity to ramp up or bring back the backlog in the product development pipeline. And now coming on to the growth front and acquisition front, of course, this is a challenging period for all the fintechs. And just we are waiting, keeping our fingers crossed to see what happens for the next couple of months.
Great. Sounds good, Mukesh. So they're not just eating the biryani and chilling, but also innovating and disrupting and waiting for the right time. Good.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
we miss biryani too now.
Great. So I'm sure they must be taking enough care about themselves in this bad time, actually. So now specifically, I would like to ask you, Mukesh, what are you doing? I do understand, you are actually providing a credit to the people those who have a credit card. It sounds really innovative. But how's the trend there right now? Are people using more credit? Are people coming to you? And have you seen some, numbers have you seen rise in your demand?
So Amal, I'll just give a brief as what we precisely do. We help people to put all their expenses on credit cards, even when the recipient doesn't hold a point of sale terminal. To give you an example, you want to pay your landlord on credit card because you have a cash crunch this month. Your landlord doesn't have a payment gateway or a point of sale terminal. You come on to Paymatrix, sign up, and just use your credit card, and we pay to your landlord on your behalf by blocking the limit on the card. That is what we do. So, with this current corona crisis, as you know, right, people are really uncertain about what is going to happen over the next couple of months, and they would want to retain their cash. And what a visible trend which we are able to see in the from the data which we are generating on the platform is that people are coming up with new use cases which they would want to put it on credit card. And rather than just using money from their own bank, like say net banking or a debit card, they would want to put this on credit card and get that 45 days of credit free period, and or until they get the next paycheck. And the situation is in such a way that most of the users are uncertain about their next paycheck. So rather, they would want to avail this benefit of moratorium and also to stick to the cash in their bank. So that's what we are seeing on the platform as such in terms of data and the traction. In terms of how we are affected in terms of growth, March, of course, being until last week is where the lockdown has reigned in. So March was really unaffected and we were at our all-time high. April, what we see is we definitely see a degrowth of at least around 10 to 20% in our business. For the fact that much of the users have already maxed their credit card or have put majority of their expenses and they are availing the moratorium. So when they are availing a moratorium, you don't have a limit available, right? So they are holding cash in their bank and also they have used a significant portion of their credit card limit. So they would not be able to use their card until they just pay it back. and they are just waiting for the next couple of months until the moratorium period is over to just stick to the very same cash situation. So what we see is that this degrowth is going to continue for the next couple of months,
Yeah.
and once this moratorium goes over, or unless we get to come with new use cases where we present them an opportunity to pay those expenses which currently they are paying in cash on a card, we
Right.
see that the next couple of months to be challenged.
Okay. But what is your specific observation about this trend? Could you just break it for me and tell me, okay, this is the particular segment where people are, using more cash, or this is the demand, this is a segment where the demand is really how really huge. Maybe, specifically for buying vegetables, buying groceries, or repaying their debt, or using the money for the rent. Where do you see that, credit hunger or credit demand right now?
Correct. So let's divide the user segment into two different areas. One is individuals and small business. When I'm referring to small business, I'm referring to startup founders or small
Right.
entrepreneurs who are running their own business. So now, if we just do an analysis of individuals, just if the person who is earning 100,000 rupees, he spends 20% of that on rent
Right.
and around 4 to 5% on that on maintenance, 4 to 5,000 rupees. Then a significant portion goes into saving to pay their child's fee, which usually comes in a trimester or a semester. And then they keep some money aside for emergency medical expenses. And then they do have this travel expenses, groceries, and shopping. And they do also have a savings portion. Now, if you just analyze all these expense tickets, right, just see what are those expenses which are avoidable, or which you can just try to delay the payment for. Rent, no, your landlord would not be waiting for his rent ticket, right? He wants it to be paid well before the 5th. Whether it's a crisis or a non-crisis, he wants his rent on time.
Yes.
So that's something which they have to pay well within the timeline, even if they get salary or not, right? So this is a ticket which we see most of the users are now trying to put it on credit card. Initially, the user mindset was that okay, rent is something which I have already budgeted for. Why would I want to put it on a credit card, or why would
Yes.
I want to pay that 1 to 2% extra? Now they
True.
see that okay, now the situation I would want to retain my cash. Let me put this significant 20-25% of my expense on a card. Maintenance, of course, again the same comes into the same segment. And then, so the major tickets which are currently moving towards short-term credit on cards is rent, maintenance, and if people are moving to a new house, rental advance. And we also see couple of users using it for medical emergencies, and wherein the recipient doesn't get to have a pause or says that I'm not going to bear that extra convenience fee, but the one who is going to pay, he is the one who needs the credit.
Right.
So medical emergencies and other ticket which we are seeing in individual segment, and the other one is tuition fees. We also see an interesting segment where a lot many students are now opting to pay the institute.
Yeah.
They were primarily paying it through net banking or a direct transfer. Now
Right.
they are okay to even put this 10,000 or 20,000 of trimester fees and convert into EMIs.
Right.
So much of many of these small scale institutes don't have that option or don't extend that option. So they come on to Paymatrix, just add the institute and make the payment there and convert it to EMIs. And now coming to the small business, that's where we see an interesting trend.
Okay.
Small businesses, as you know, right, that now working capital is going to be a big issue. The revenues are almost near to zero, and the expenses are of course still there. So what they are looking at is if they are able to get a breather for the next 45 to 60 days. Of course, credit card can give you 45 to 50 days of credit free period. So what they are doing is whether it's coming to rent, paying vendors, or if there are some material purchases or goods purchases, they are still trying to put it on cards and paying the recipient into its bank. So that's how both individuals and businesses are still trying to retain that working capital or cash flows in place. But
Right.
what we see is that the situation will turn difficult if they don't have at least a reasonable cash flows in place for the next 50 days.
In the time of coronavirus, I mean, again, nobody would expect that, people will fall sick or people should get positive, in the coronavirus. They should be really healthy. They should not, there should not be any need, for them to borrow any money or take credit for, to cure the coronavirus. That is, what we all are praying. But the question is, by any chance, have you seen any surge, any numbers, or people taking loan, taking credit specifically to deal with coronavirus? Has there been any instances like that?
No, Anmol. Actually, I haven't seen any surge in the expense tickets of medical emergencies as such, but we have seen a surge in people putting their rentals on cards.
Right. That's
So, yeah,
yeah.
that's a good part that we are not seeing any visible cases where people are not covered under insurance and where they are opting to pay it on a card. As I told you, there are a couple of cases, but not nothing a reasonable surge in that.
Okay, so Mukesh, one more question. Since you have been operating in this space since a really long time now, and you have been, trying to do this credit business. Since now, in most of the states, most of the cities, the curfew, the kind of decisions that the government has taken, has almost completed 1 month. In the first week of March, only people started realizing it. Multinational companies also started, giving work from home. So it's almost a 1 month. What is the major difference that you have seen in your demand in last 1 month compared to what you used to see earlier? Is it 10%? Is it 15%? Or is it more than that?
Yeah. So, Anmol, we have been growing on an average of 15 to 20% month on month since the last 7 months. And March has been good for us because much of the transaction tickets or the business which we generate happens in the first 15 days. So, luckily for March, we have moved beyond that point and this crisis has kicked in the second half of the month.
Right.
So, March was a very good month for us and we made our all time high of crossing around 10.15 crores in just March alone. But having said that, in April we see a visible difference. You just do a comparison of the first 10 days of a March and first 10 days of April. I am able to see that we are able to reach only 60 to 70% of the volumes.
Right.
So what I see is this month we would be seeing a dent of at least 15 to 20% in growth. Means we would be growing by around 15 to 20% in this month.
Right. That's an interesting number to watch out for. In fact, and thank you so much, Mukesh, for sharing these comprehensive insights with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Uh,
Amol, for giving me this opportunity.
yeah, thank you so much. And my dear viewers, readers, thank you so much for watching FinTech Diary on ETBFSI. As you understand that we are shooting this video on Hangout by sitting at home, and unfortunately, we cannot, give you the better output than this because we are operating in a limited infrastructure. Stay safe. Stay tuned to etbfsi.com. Thank you so much for watching.